this episode of That Kingsville Podcast, Donnelly and Kandy Reid are here. They were former chief umpires for Kingsville Minor Ball. Lots of stories, lots of fame. Lots of things to talk about.
It's going to be fun.
All that and more on this episode of That Kingsville Podcast. That Kingsville Podcast proudly brought to you by Kingsville Brewery. ChatGPT, we'll do it again. Write me some copy. Ready?
Yeah.
It was a quiet night in Kingsville until someone took the last Kingsville Brewery IPA from the fridge. Don't look at me. I was editing the podcast.
God.
Editing? You fell asleep holding a mic in a half-empty pint glass. Local investigators quickly determined the beer was too good to resist. Kingsville Brewery, smooth, refreshing, and capable of turning friends into suspects. You edited in some dramatic music here. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, read it again. I'll do it. Do it.
Kingsville Brewery, smooth, refreshing, and capable of turning friends into suspects.
Dun, dun, dun.
High class production here, ladies. It's okay. So we called a town meeting and ordered another round. Crisis solved, case closed, and we learned something important today. In Kingsville, good friends argue, but great beer brings them back together. To Kingsville Brewery! Kingsville Brewery, drink local, laugh loud, and remember, if your mic goes missing, check your co-host. Oh boy!
I don't know what you just said.
No idea. That was bad. That was ChatGPT. I'm going to give that one like a 4 out of 10.
Drink beer.
Yes.
Just go buy Kingsville beer.
Brewery. Free delivery, Windsor, Essex County, KingsvilleBrewery.com. Thank you, Kingsville Brewery, for supporting That Kingsville Podcast. And I'm going to, give ChatGPT a piece of my mind.
Do that. We'll give you one back.
Yeah. Welcome to That Kingsville Podcast. It's me, Dave, Kevin, Steve. Very special guest this week. Deb Donnelly, Kandy Reid. You guys are big into Kingsville Minor Ball for a long time, and Steve brought you in to join us on the show. Thanks for coming in, ladies.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this was kind of came about as I was sitting watching warm-ups for one of my daughter's baseball games this summer, and Deb and Kandy walked over, and I just jokingly obviously said to my wife, could we get some more experienced umpires? And we kind of had a chuckle, and this was sort of shortly after we had discussed, talking to different people from the community who've had an impact in different ways on different levels. And it was Tam that said, you should invite them on the podcast. And I thought that's a great idea. So we did have it originally planned for a couple of months ago, and then, schedules conflicted a little bit. So, they graciously accepted an invitation on, basically 2 days ago. It was sent out. And they said, yeah, we're game. So, we're happy to have them here, and we can talk ball.
Well, ball's been on the tip of everybody's, tongue lately. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but maybe Kevin and I are big Blue Jay fans, and they did a thing for a while in October. So, Deb, you were the one that started doing the umpiring. So, when was that?
I started when my son was like 11.
Yeah.
I wanted to contribute something to his sports. I, for years, had to be on boards for my daughters because they were all gymnasts. And my youngest daughter was on the Canadian team, which demanded a parent on the board. So I always felt guilty, my son being the youngest of 4, that I never got to contribute anything to his sports. So I decided he was playing ball. As always, there watching. I took over the umpiring. He too umpired. So it was something him and I could do together. And so I continued on. So even after he was no longer playing or umpiring, I still stayed umping because I just love baseball.
So, yeah, you don't just know how to umpire, right? You got to have a little bit of an experience with it. So how did you get involved with the sport yourself? Was it through your kids?
No, actually, I'm the baseball player in the family. So, yes, I love baseball. The saying, eat, drink, sleep, baseball, that's definitely me. I can go to a ball diamond. I don't have to know anybody. I just sit in the stands and I watch the game.
Love of the game.
Yes.
And then you got your friend involved in it too.
Because she's my neighbor.
Kandy, did you choose this under duress or was this a force?
She kind of put a gun to my head. Yeah. And so she drags me into everything and I'm like, okay, so here I am.
All those years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to love the game, right? It's a big commitment. Mm-hmm. So Kandy, when did you get involved in baseball?
I started when I was around 8 years old, and I played right up until in my 50s. And
so it was like yesterday.
Yes, I was going to say that was yesterday.
We are all dads. We have all the dad jokes, especially Steve.
Yeah. So then I ended up. My kids all played, and then when Debbie started with the umpiring thing, she kind of conned me into it, and so I hopped on board, and I've been there ever since.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So how many years are we talking? I'm not trying, not asking you to, say your age, but I mean
years in umpiring, or years in playing.
Well, let's go years in umpiring, because that's ultimately why we invited you on.
26.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just below her.
24.
Yeah.
So half a century combined.
Yeah.
That's significant. It's a significant contribution to the development of minor sports. So, like, did you start with T-ball, or was it, what level was it that you guys were focused in?
Actually, when I took it over, most of the board was stepping down, and there were only a few umpires left. I think I had 6 to start. So my goal was to build and get plenty of umpires, to build a good, strong group of kids, adults as well, and to progress the sport, for everybody.
Yeah, the skill.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Like, did you look for kids in a specific kind of personality or dynamic?
No, because it's really hard to tell. Some kids are very shy and quiet and turn out to be excellent umpires.
They're
just
like
confident.
authority.
Yes. And then you have other kids that you think, they played travel, they played, baseball for a few years. They'll be good, and they have no interest. I think for them, it's a different side of the game. So you're being the umpire instead of actually the ball player. Mm-hmm. So you have all different ones. And I think we took everybody. Anybody who signed up and wanted to learn, we're ready to train them.
What is the main difference for those, and for yourselves? Obviously, you love umpiring. You've been doing it for so long. What is it about it for the kids when they're doing it? Do you think that they enjoy doing it? Because playing ball is fun. Umpiring is not always fun. I think it can be difficult.
I think some of them start out because they get a little bit of money. They get paid to umpire, and from there, if they love it, they just stay with it. And we hope that they do stay with the game. But usually by second year, level 1, they are weeded out. Like if they just don't like it, they don't come back. But yeah.
What is it about it that you guys love?
Well, baseball I just love. But as for umpires, I think it's mostly you get young kids, they're eager to learn because it's their first job. They're 12, so it's not like they have a lot of experience. And just to build their confidence, teach them the game, a little bit of responsibility. It's your job. Come dressed properly. We have some guidelines for them to follow. And most of the kids are so excited. They can't wait to get on the ball diamond. And you want to work with them. Those are the ones that are eager to learn. You can teach them so much because they want to be there.
Have you had the opportunities to go outside of Kingsville regularly? I know you've umpired in Leamington, but does your reputation precede you? And they're like, we need these ladies from Kingsville, or we need the teams from the umpiring teams from Kingsville.
We actually got called a lot we did Cottam, Essex, Amherstburg,
Leamington.
Leamington. So
we like it. It's fun, and I meet a lot of the kids that I also drive school bus. So a lot of the kids that were on my school bus play baseball. So it's really a fun experience when I'm out there, and I just say, okay, you better hit the ball. So, it's fun. I like seeing the kids that I drive also. What are
and to kind of take it back for people who don't know, that aren't familiar with people are familiar with baseball, but understanding what's happening on the umpiring side, what sort of training goes into for the kids, and then for yourselves as well? I'm sure there's work that happens to keep up with rules, if there's changes, those sorts of things. What does that side of it look like that people maybe don't see?
Lots of clinics.
Yes. Everybody has to take a clinic. Doesn't matter what level you're at, whatever. The higher the level, the harder the exam, put it that way. So when they're starting out, they have a 4-hour in-person clinic, but they also have to go online and do like questions and stuff. They show you little scenarios and then you have to answer which one you think is right, whatever one you think is the right one. And then you just go over some of the skills and stuff that they're showing you in the little videos that they show and stuff. I think that even by the time you get to level 3, we had exams and they're not easy. Like I have some guys who have been umping for years, Windsor umpires, and even they don't know all the answers, right? But then we all sit down, we go over, everybody prints their own exam. They're different, but we'll sit as a group and I would always bring them to my house. We'd sit around my table and we would answer the questions like, okay, so in this situation, what is the right answer, right? And we'd go over it. So then everybody go home and write their exams. You had to have more than 86% to pass. So you only could get 3 wrong.
Yeah. And every 3 years, we have to do the super clinic, which is we go there and they teach us and there's always new rules all the time.
So like the Ontario Federation of Umpires.
It's sometimes hard keeping up.
Yeah.
And we do instruct the kids, like we have pages of rules that Debbie printed out and we have every level and like mosquito, banana, you name it, everything is there. And before they go to ump their game, we ask them to please read over the rules because every division is different.
Yeah. And we're going to get into the negativity of like parents and umps in a bit, right? Like because I'm sure that helped prepare a lot of your umps through the time. But you guys throughout your, let's call it umping career, probably participated in some pretty significant tournaments in the town of Kingsville. So through your participation, what do you think has happened in Kingsville and baseball in general? Has it increased in popularity? Is there, an attraction for more people to play because of?
I think we could have more kids involved in baseball, but we need to offer things that everybody can play. I like baseball. Doesn't matter if it's hardball, fast pitch, slow pitch. I like them all. But not everybody's at the same caliber of baseball. So to take one away, like slow pitch, to take it away to have only fast pitch, it loses a lot of kids because some kids, they want to play baseball. They just don't have the athletic ability to play that game. They need something a little slower pace, something that they can learn in a slower way, not quite so quick. So I think if we could offer both would benefit our town for playing. I think that there's enough kids that would like to play slow pitch that are not playing at all.
Okay, because you have to travel, right? Like, Kevin, for your daughter, you travel a little bit because of where their team plays. But like being a parent / coach, fair to say?
Yeah.
Like, how have you seen the evolution of your participation in the last few years?
Well, it was different because my daughter was actually was playing during the transition years. So she played the last year of slow pitch and then started when Kelly Mello was starting fast pitch, was on the team to kind of try it out. My daughter was on the opposite end of it, right? My daughter hated slow pitch. She hated it.
I don't watch this on TV.
Yeah, and she was probably done with baseball if slow pitch was the game. And we had no idea at the time that fast pitch was, because it hadn't really been advertised yet, the fast pitch was a possibility. And Kelly had reached out and asked if Mia wanted to go out and play this kind of other team and see if she liked it. And she took to it right away, and it fostered in her, like, a love of baseball where we were sitting and watching the game and the Jonas Brothers came on playing a song and she got mad at the TV because they were stopping baseball.
Because it's the Jonas Brothers and they're horrible. Sorry, Joe Jonas. I love you.
Right.
I'm talking to him. He's right there.
He's right there. Yeah.
He subscribes. He subscribes to our
now we're getting hate email from four of our fans. So I was my daughter was on the other side of it, but 100% I understand what you're saying.
Is your daughter athletic in other sports?
She's a dancer. So she
Okay. And that's what I'm saying. Kids that are athletic will love fast pitch.
Yes.
Because it's a faster sport and they'll pick it up quicker because they are athletic. I'm talking about the kids who only come out to play baseball to have fun, be with their friends for a night, learn a little bit of baseball, but not at that competitive level.
Yeah, and coaching, you can see where, because my daughter's U13, and is a major in U13 this year, and so she, like, you can see in her house league where there's players now that probably will be starting to drop off because the game's moving a little bit faster than they are. And they're probably kids that would love to play slow pitch, right? I mean, I don't know the politics behind it. I'm just a parent and help out. I really don't take part in any of that. I show up where I'm told to show up. But as long as there's teams and competition and teams you can go play and all of that, then yeah. The one part I will say that really surprised me when my daughter started playing baseball is the fact that there's no interlock, and coaches basically call each other to set up when games are going to happen, and then try to make sure that they get games in. But there's no standings really. No. So
there used to be. Yeah, there should be.
And it's difficult to arrange, right? Like everybody's got lives outside of minor ball, and to be able to organize that and make sure it's consistent, it's got to be difficult to do.
100%.
I'm pretty sure that we had standings before when Steve Hatt was doing it. He would tier them off top tier.
Steve Hatt.
A tier, bottom tier. Yeah. Then we'd have a wrap-up game.
Yeah.
And top would play bottom. And
so
we'd also have a select team. They would pick the best stuff of each team. They had a select team. They'd play other towns. And I just wish it was still kind of like that. Because
I'm not against fast pitch. Trust me. I like all baseball. I'm just saying I wish we could have something for everybody.
Yeah.
If we only had one team here, like that we could fit so many kids on and they could go to town and play, that at least we keep them involved, right?
Sure.
They get a sport that they can play in the summer.
So you've got to have some history of like tournaments and some memorable moments. So the Kandy, like when you lighten up. So what are you thinking of? What's the highlight of a tournament?
Sometimes parents don't know how to behave.
You go figure.
And we were umping a tournament in Leamington, and I was umping senior girls, and I got called by the convener to drop down and ump juniors. And I'm like, okay. And he said, there is a lot of commotion. Parents are fighting. There's foul language going on, and we need someone that can get in there and stop this and take control of the game. And so I went to my first game, and there was a parent on one team on first baseline and another parent from the other team on the third baseline, and they were just yelling at each other and nasty names.
Across the diamond.
So,
yeah, everyone can hear this. Okay.
Yeah, so I walked to the middle of the diamond, and I crossed my arms, and I just stood there. I didn't say a word. And it took a couple minutes for everybody to realize the game was not going on, and it all got quiet. And I just yelled out, I said, "Are you kidding me? This is a kid's game. And look how you're behaving. You are kidding me." That's all I said. Yeah. I stood there for about another minute. I walked back to the plate and said, "Play ball." Yeah. Rest of the tournament, I had grandparents and parents come up to me thanking me and ask me if I was going to be upping the rest of the tournament at this level. Yeah. And I said, "Yep, I will be here for the championship and the semis." So yeah, and after that, it was pretty calm.
Yeah, Deb, I'm sure you've.
I've been in those same shoes.
right, and that's why I was saying, hey, we talk about it a little later, but like any good memories of something incredible that happened, or was it all just doom and gloom and parents fighting?
Oh no, lots of times Kandy and I always had a blast when we were up together. There was never a dull game. But a lot of times most of the parents knew us. Like I said, from Amherstburg to Leamington, it didn't matter where we went. I go to the mall, I stand there, somebody comes up, "Hi, how are you doing?" I'm like, "Fine, how are you?"
You're like, "That's a little outside."
She said, "You don't know who I am, right?" And I'm like, "No, I'm sorry, I don't." She goes, "Oh, you want my daughter 10 years ago?"
Oh my God.
Well, yeah. Sorry. Could I forgot?
If her daughter had been there, I probably would have said, "Oh, yeah, I know her." But you don't know what parents belong to what kids, right? But I know there's lots of times Kandy and I've gone out there and we've had good parents because they're happy to see us. They're like, they come up to us before the game. "Thank you guys for being here. You guys are so good. You're good with the kids." We try and make it fun for them. Like baseball doesn't have to be upsetting if you get out. It's okay. You're going to come to bat again next time.
Part of the game.
Yeah. So I think we get a lot of compliments. We even today still get stopped on the streets and, they'll ask us, "Hey, do you think if I get my convener to call you, will you and Kandy come and help our game?" And I'm like, "Sure, call us. Like, we'll go." But we do. We help out a lot of the small towns around here. I get phone calls still, even though I'm not the chief umpire. But they'll call me because they still have my number. And, if I can help out, I help out.
Having ref soccer, I know sometimes I kind of get caught up watching the skill level or ability of certain players. You can't help it. I don't know if you can think of any names off the top of your head, but any players that have really stood out over the years, just ability-wise, whether they were 8 years old at the time or 10 years old, or
Hickey girls.
Okay.
Yeah, all of them. Dalton Prout.
Yeah.
He was one.
He didn't go on to do anything.
He had his choice, ball or hockey.
Yeah, he got a choice. There's been a number of kids that I've seen. We had the Taverne twins. They were both good ball players.
There's a lot. We can't.
Yeah.
And I can see faces, and sometimes I just don't know their names. But
neither do I. So, but what about some of the kids that you trained as umps? Like, do you have memorable skills from those kids?
Yeah, we actually a number of them we're still umping as adults.
Oh yeah,
they stuck with us. Sad to say, when we stepped down a couple of years ago, a number of kids decided not to come back. So I tried to talk them out of it. I know, but I didn't want them not to. Just because I wasn't going to be there. I kept trying to tell them I'm still going to be on the ball diamond. I'm just not going to be running it anymore, So, but they umped for years. They liked it. It was good. They're just adults now, moving on, getting a more 40-hour-a-week job.
Sure.
Going back to the parents thing, I think from what I've seen over the recent years, it's getting better. Parents aren't quite as volatile, aren't quite as angry. And, still passionate, but they're maintaining themselves. And I think part of that is, parents are kind of parenting the parents, if you will, and keeping each other in line. But what's the message to young umpires? Because you mentioned sometimes after a year or two, some of them don't come back. How do you keep them back or keep them coming back and prepare them to say, you may run into situations that are going to be difficult, and how would you handle them?
I think we basically do that right when we're first training them. We want them to build their confidence. We want them to be comfortable out there. So we're always telling them, and we put our phone numbers right on their calendar so they can call us anytime with any issue. And we emphasize that to them. If you have any problems, you call me and let me know. I want to hear what happened. Then we can look on our schedule. We know which coach it was. We know what game they were at because I know where my umps were at. if I find they're starting to get a little unsure of themselves or not wanting to do it, a little intimidated, I will say to them, I said, I will come to your next game. I'll sit in the stands. I'll be there for you. I said, you ump the game and I'll be right there if you need me. And then sometimes you just have to get them over that little hurdle and then they're good again. There's been a few times where I did have to sit in the stands and I actually had to walk out on the middle of the ball diamond in a travel game in my shorts and my flip-flops just to set the record straight. Just said, don't ever intimidate an umpire like that again. I said, because the next time I will come out and I won't be so polite. And I walked off the diamond and all the parents from his team applauded. So that tells me even his own parents were not accepting his actions and what he was doing, but nobody was telling them. Everybody was just letting them do it. It's like they were afraid. But I guess I don't get intimidated or
broad shoulders.
I just want the kids to learn and have fun. It can be as much fun umping as it is playing.
Well, that's got to be the hard part about it, too. Like, you get a kid who's not confident enough and there's adults and there's a lot of pressure because they want to do the right thing. And, if they make a mistake, they don't know how to correct it instantly. And then if you get constant ridicule.
Well, we tell them, do their best. You see the call, take your time. You don't have to make that call instantly. Just, process it, then make the call. They're not going to be perfect. We tell them, hey, you just go out and do your best. And I do tell them, I always say to them, even when we're wrong, we're right. So they get it. They chuckle. But for the most part, kids, of course they're going to make errors or they're young, but
and that's how they learn.
Yeah.
But coaches, along with parents, have to understand that. I remind them. They're kids and they're learning. Usually when I go out there, I introduce us. I'll say, usually Kandy and I will go with one of them for the first little while and I'll introduce myself and I'll say, and this is my new umpire. They're just learning this year. So, we're learning the game. So that gives them an idea that if there's a question, you can come and ask. We'll talk about it and we'll make a decision from there. But, then again, Kandy and I wouldn't really tolerate them screaming and yelling at our umpires either. So I think they already know that before we even say anything.
And we start training them when they're with the little guys.
Yeah.
And so we're right on the field with them. We're putting them in the proper positions. We're having them use the proper hand signals, try to get them to be loud. And I said, one day you guys are going to have just as big as mouth as Debbie and I. So.
Well, I know Steve, you kind of mentioned that parents have gotten a little bit better, which actually surprises me.
I will just say, because there's the new codes of conduct, right? I know minor hockey has one, and parents are required to kind of go through the training and read it. And I think that's paid a big dividend to that. But anyway.
Well, I'm curious, have you noticed what is the difference from when you started to now, the way that the parents are, but also the way that the players are? Do you do the players treat you the same now that the way they treated you, 10, 20 years ago? Do the parents treat you the same, or is it different?
I think they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't have any real complaints at all. Like, kids are respectful.
Yep.
The parents are respectful. I'm sure sometimes they think it's the World Series and they get heated up, but that's mainly in tournaments and whatnot or championship games. So it can get a little heated then, everyone wants to win. But for the most part, what do you think, Deb?
I think so. Honestly, I think Kandy and I have been doing it so long, we don't have a lot of the issues. Some of the others
You run a tight ship.
I think
tight
so.
Diamond.
Yeah.
You're out of here.
So we really don't. And I mean, I don't have problems with coaches either. Like, a lot of times the coaches come out and they know, like, it's going to be this way and then that's it, right? Off the ball diamond is a whole different story. That's, now we can be friends and buddies. We'd go to Leamington. We had a couple of coaches. I actually played ball with his wife for years. So when he was coaching his daughters, every game, even when he come to Kingsville, he'd come over and he'd kick dirt on my shoes. And all the parents are like, why are you doing that to the ump right off the bat? And then he'd laugh. And
Set the tone.
Yes, he'd come over and give me a big hug. And then, everybody was kind of like looking, but it's just all in fun, right?
Right.
So, and I think, and I don't know if it's just because we're older or because we've been doing it so long that people have just given us that respect. And we try our best to work with the kids and let them get that same respect, right? Because that will make them good umpires too.
Obviously, working with your son was probably one of the greatest personal rewards you've got out of umpiring. But what are some of the other, personal satisfaction that you've had from your careers as umpires?
We've actually had a number of kids when they have finished umpiring and weren't coming back, moved on to things, or even their first year umping would send us little cards saying, thank you so much for helping us and teaching us the right thing. So over the years, the kids themselves, I think for me, that was the biggest reward, them thanking us, appreciating everything we did. There's lots of times where I thought, oh, this is it, my last year. I'm not doing this again.
If Jerry gets out of the stands one more time, I'm done. I'm dropping this.
But you know what? Every year, at the end of the year, the kids are grateful, very respectful to us, tell us, can you call me like in the wintertime so we can sign up again? And so I think that made it all worth everything we went through for the whole season, right?
So over the years, you've made mistakes, right? It
No.
happens.
No.
Never. Well,
She just said
Even
you
when
can't
we're
say
wrong, we're right.
I get it, right? But much like it's a pressure sport and it's a pressure call. How did you deal with it when you're like, I know I made this wrong call? Like
I've had to ask, the base ump when I was behind the plate. I had made a call, but I didn't see it hit her toe, and the coaches were, rah, rah, rah. And so I just called time and I walked out to the middle of the diamond and asked the base ump if they did see that, and they did. So I changed the call, which you try not to, but when it's something like that, of course you do. And Deb and I.
That's why it's so important. You have two umps.
Yes.
Well, of course.
Very
For
important.
years, we had to ump with one, especially girls, not the boys, but the girls. And then you run into those situations because one ump cannot see it all. It's impossible.
Do you recall when I was...
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Yeah, well.
I was umping with Debbie, and Debbie was the plate ump, and I was doing bases. And it was a routine play, which should have by rights been thrown to second base. So
the shortstop got the ball.
Yeah. And instead of it throwing it to second, it was thrown to first, and I was in the direct line of fire.
No.
I dropped to the ground. I was right on the ground. And then I got up and I had no idea. I did not see if she was safe or not. And Debbie was behind the plate howling because I'm laying on the ground. And I just pointed at her and she made the call.
Yeah. Well, yeah. A little inconvenient, nap took halfway through.
Oh, we had another one was really funny too. Kandy was bases. I was plate, runner on first. Ground ball hit to the shortstop. Her play should have been at second base, lead runner. So Kandy spins around real quick, plants herself and looking at second base, and the shortstop threw it to first.
Well, it's over there now.
Oh, it was funny.
We were laughing so hard.
Yeah,
we could barely ump the game.
Yeah, we had a couple incidences like that where we were just killing ourselves laughing. But,
is there a rule you hate?
Oh, let me see. What rule do I hate the most?
I see infield fly.
I don't mind the infield fly because I'm usually on that. But,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like that they changed
like the
rules.
seven running. I disagree with that. If you're a team and your best inning is in the second inning and you score your 7 runs, okay, so now no out, you have to get off the diamond. They get to go up. And now that team is going to have their best inning in the 7th. And so I don't like open inning and I don't like the 7 inning cap because now you could go in the 7th inning and hit 20 runs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How unfair, because they had a good inning in a different inning, right? So I disagree. I understand they wanted to get away from some teams hitting, but put the mercy rule back in.
Yeah.
15 run mercy.
Yeah.
And it's up to the other team. If it's 15 run and you still have time left in your game, your 90-minute time limit, and you still want to play, then play.
How about it?
So what if it's 15 runs? That's a mercy, but you still can play.
Mhm.
I just don't like either one of those rules. I think if those were the top two, I don't know which one I dislike the most, the 7 run
I like
or
that
open
question.
inning.
I like that question.
Ah.
No, it's every ump's like I'm sure it's the hardest thing is I have to call this even though I disagree with it.
Yeah.
And you probably would have had to make calls that you didn't want to make, but that was your perception. That was your view, right? Like, can you think of a time when you knew you made the right call, but everybody else thought it was opposite? Like
Missing a base.
yeah,
Yeah.
missing a base or not getting a tag.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would say the base one.
Yeah, because that's not something everybody watches.
Even the coaches don't watch
No.
that. And we cannot, if they miss the bag, we don't say anything.
We can't.
We can't say anything. We got to wait for them to come to us and then we can make that call. So we try and be on top of that.
Yeah.
See, when we played, we had positions on the field and each girl was responsible for something. Our shortstop was making the call where the fielder was throwing it. Our pitcher was watching if they missed the base or not. So everybody had a job. Even though the ball's in the outfield, we all had a job to do in the inning, right?
Mhm.
So being a shortstop, I was making the calls and I was a pitcher, so I was watching the base. So those are just things that I learned from playing. Not necessarily did I learn that when I was umpiring. I just brought that along. But yeah, so it was, I think those are probably the ones you don't want to call, but you have to call because nobody watches it, right?
Does being a player make you a better umpire?
I think so.
I think they have a better understanding because when you're playing, you play as a game to win or lose, hit the ball, catch the ball. When you're umpiring, you're watching all those things. You're not actually doing it. You're watching it. So you're getting a feel of what it's like if a person does miss the base. Oh, she missed the base. Yeah. So I can't say anything, but if they appeal it, I have to call it.
And they have a better understanding of the game. So if they're playing baseball and they're starting out when they're young, they're getting a little bit of feel of the rules as they get older and older and older. It absorbs.
Mhm.
And I think it makes them somewhat of a stronger umpire.
Do you find differences umping boys against versus the girls outside of rules, obviously, but the way the games go, the way players are, the way coaches are?
No, I don't think there's much of a difference. I think that's all, when you're competitive, you're competitive.
I was going to say, to me, there's a difference between travel and the rest of the league.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Travel, all the coaches think they're playing for $1 million.
Aren't they though? I thought it was. Everybody's getting contracts. And
Yeah, no.
No.
Not this year.
No.
Try again next year.
Yeah. But I just find they are more aggressive, so they're more competitive as coaches as well, right? So it makes their game a little more heated, I would say, than just your normal baseball game.
And that's when we throw in the more experienced umpires for
Yeah.
the travel. So we try and keep it where we know what the kids' caliber is for the most part and
Mhm.
what they can handle and what they can and should be umping. So that's what.
And we pair them up. We never put two young ones together. More experience with the young because they're still learning. They can ump for 5 years and still learn.
Is there a greatest game that you can think of that you've been a part of as far as factoring in the importance of the game, how well it was played by both teams, and you look back and you say, I was an umpire in that game and I'm so proud to be a part of that game.
I would say the Leamington and Kingsville championship game, the year just before Fast Pitch started. Kandy and I were doing that game. It was
boys, girls.
girls,
Okay.
slow pitch,
Yeah, seniors.
seniors. And yeah, it was an intense game. It was a 1-run difference. It was back and forth.
That was heated.
It was a heated game. Yeah. Then every call we made, they wanted to appeal to the other ump. So,
We just stuck together.
and not just the Leamington coach, the Kingsville coach too. You know what I mean? So it was intense for both sides. But I mean, we umped the game that we would have umped no matter who was playing. So we did all right. It ended up a 1-run difference in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah.
How important has the fact that you're neighbors and friends been for your longevity and staying with the sport?
You know what? It's great having a great friend, a neighbor, and being able to do this with somebody that, we click, we connect. I need to borrow a tomato or sugar. I just walk over to my neighbors.
I usually meet at the fence.
Yeah.
So is it a case of if one decides I'm done, the other's done? Has this been discussed, or is it?
We're discussing it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to think of that day, and obviously, and I should have had my wits about me. I would have asked you this on Monday to try and tally, because I ask these questions all the time, and it probably drives people nuts. But if we were to put numbers on things, how many games you've umpired, how many hours you've dedicated to baseball, this is what to me is the value in small time community and having people like yourself. Is if you were to put a number on these things, and that's to me is what's sort of mind blowing for the community.
I don't think we can put a number. It's been so many years and so many hours and so many games. And
at the beginning of the season, I literally probably spend over 100 hours doing the schedule, just scheduling the games and making sure I have everybody's game and 2 umpires for game.
Calling all the umpires, making sure they're getting to the clinics on,
We start in February.
Mm-hmm.
We get on the phone, we call, we make sure we get everybody. We don't leave anybody out. They don't answer, I'm calling them back. And I mean, we do that every year. And I think the kids have always relied on that. So I'm hoping that it's the same, that, they still get that little nudge. Sometimes it's only February, but I always give them the line, like there's always 3 clinics that are close to home. You want to get in one of them. So do it now, get the one you want that works out for your schedule, and then we don't have to worry about it. So we give them a couple of weeks and then we call them back.
And we try and talk to their parents, because a lot of the times you can't trust the kids to pass the message.
Yeah.
So we do try and get talk to their parents and make sure they're on top of that and signing those kids up.
But even though we work so hard on the schedule at the beginning of the season, that doesn't stop, because you always have rained out games. You have makeup games. You have umpires who have a makeup game. Now they can't ump their game. And
you have kids that want to, go to a birthday party, which is understandable. So,
yeah. And I always tell them, don't be afraid to call.
Mm-hmm.
You give me enough notice, I will find somebody. Kandy and I have gone out there and umped games that we're not even sure we should be on, just because we didn't have somebody, right? But we go out there and we make sure we're with somebody more experienced than us. And then, especially if we're doing boys hardball, like a midget game, like those boys are way bigger than me. And I got to chase them around the diamond. I don't know.
Are you fans of MLB? Do you watch like Tigers or Jays or?
Oh, I just watched that game.
Oh,
yeah.
I wanted to cry, but I stuck it out right to the end.
Jays fan?
Yes, absolutely.
Jays?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
I've said before, they're my second team. I was cheering them on.
So we'll talk about the game, because the series is so many rules issues, but I wonder a couple of things. First, when watching ball on TV, when you started umping, did you start watching it differently?
I think we watch umpires a little more, that's for sure.
Yeah, we criticize them a bit. We're like, I seen that. So I think, we do maybe pick it apart a little bit more than we did before you watch the game, the batters, the plays, where now you're watching the calls and the batters and the plays. So a little bit.
What do you think of the robo-umps? The automatic balls and strikes?
Oh, well, I personally, with maybe getting a little off topic, but when the ball's coming in and they do that automatic replay and it's in the box and everything, and then they have a chance to appeal and whatnot, I'm not a fan of that, because sometimes, and that's like, everybody's watching that. So if an umpire is a little bit out of that little box strike zone, the world sees that and he's already made the call. So,
well, technology is not that far away where it can be on local diamonds, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, there won't be the need for the human end of it as long as the sport goes that way.
Mhm.
As long as we still consider an actual physical umpire, like that'll just be the secondary end of things. But, you know, in your case of not being able to have kids ump games, that's an option.
Yeah.
It's on the horizon. So,
Right. I hope that never comes into
well, that's going
fact.
to happen.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
think so.
think so?
Yeah, it sounded like that's their next step.
Yeah.
Because it's cheap and it's easy. So, but going back to the majors and the umps, they all have, you know, characters that they all play behind the plate, right? Calling balls and strikes. Like were you like a very physical, like yeah, like rack 'em?
My son was.
Oh yeah,
And the kids loved it.
Yeah.
So lots of times when we were training kids, my son is much older than he looks. So he's like mid-30s and he looks like he's a 16-year-old teenager, right? So when I would put the younger 12-year-olds with them, they're like, hey, he's cool. I like him. And my son would just laugh because he would just let it go and, you know, just work with them or whatever. And a lot of the kids that I found were shy, kind of quiet, not too loud. I would stick my son with them. Kandy and I'd work with them for a few games. And if we weren't coming through, and this is why I'm saying how we, I don't want to say rate the kids, but we see where their strengths or weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm.
If we weren't getting through, then we bring in one of the boys, the older boys, and we put them in there. And then my son would work with them, or Kandy's son, Chance, he umped for a while too. We'd put those guys with them, and then all the kids are like, can we ump with him again? I'm like, sure. Because they just came out of that shell. Now they're ready to go. So now they're going to learn. I'm going to put them with somebody that they're going to learn from. They may not learn from Kandy. I work too much like their mom, right?
Sure.
So, and you get some kids that are like that. Other kids, I find the girls take to Kandy and I more, I think, than they did the boys.
Yeah.
They're more quiet and shy with the boys, right? So,
Well, and I think for passive fans, the automatic balls and strikes will be good because, like my wife sees the box and the ball will be a little bit outside the box, and then she's irate, right?
Yes.
Because that should have been a strike, or it should have been a ball,
right.
But people who played the game for some time will understand it's not so much that it's the box and it's in or out of the box, but just consistently calling it the same, right?
Yes.
If you are an ump and you that likes a high strike, well then just like the high strike the same way all the time,
Right.
right? And I think that's the part of the game that we'll end up missing.
Yeah, we'll lose.
That personality of the ump that they inject in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I've got umps that I absolutely detested from Major League Ball.
Yeah.
Jerry West. Hated Jerry West.
Well, and I forget the guy's name now. Though he umped in the ALCS. Eddings.
I know. Sorry.
He would take the ball for anytime a new ball was coming in, and the ump hands the ball to the catcher, and the catcher throws it back to the pitcher because that's a live ball, right? The ump was throwing the ball back every single time. Eddings, I think. Doug Eddings,
maybe.
I think. And I remember sitting there and I was trying to figure out in my head, okay, if the ump is throwing the ball back, what would happen if the pitcher's like, hey, you know what, I'm not going to catch it. Because then a player's never touched the ball and it's a live ball, and that the umpire has caused into the field of play. It was wild.
It's a new one on you. Brains are smoking a little bit too, right?
I would definitely call that a dead ball.
Yeah.
You're
like,
yeah.
Watching the World Series, lots of crazy the dead ball in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
The close play at home with Connor Falefa, the leaping catch over top of another player. The 7-6 or 7-4 double play at second to end game 6. Which play stood out for you, and what did you see any calls during the World Series that you were like, oh, that's clearly a missed call?
I don't know. I can't. I do remember saying something. Because I did say I would not have made that call. But to think of what it was now. I don't remember, but I do.
Well, there was I can't remember who it was that did that fabulous catch and went right up.
Oh, yeah, that
caught
was
it,
the
knocked
best.
his teammate over.
Yeah. The center fielder for the
Potheads.
Dodgers.
Potheads, yeah.
I thought that was a fantastic play. It really was, because that would have made a change in the game.
Yeah.
Pages.
Yeah, pages. Potheads.
It does go to show you that even in the professional game, that there's a lot of inconsistency and a lot of subjects to, I haven't seen this before, but I made a call and it's going to cause controversy.
Yeah,
like if nothing more, it's the human element that you bring to it. And the two of you seem to have prided yourselves in being the professional end of your game and how you called things, and obviously the community respects you for that. And that goes to show with our conversation here, to find out about all the kids that you had as umpires that you trained, and the following that you had, and the references for being called into those high pressure or very important games. So, thanks for coming on the show tonight and
Thanks for
sharing
having
that with
us.
us, because it's a story that doesn't get told unless you played ball or had the experiences on the diamond with you. So,
Or you meet him at the fence.
or you meet them at the fence and you get a tomato or a cup of sugar every now and again. So, thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing it with the audience tonight.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Yeah,
It was
thank
great.
you very
Thank you.
much. Thanks for having us.
So hopefully we'll see you next year on the diamond. Yeah, we haven't sealed that one yet.
Yeah,
When that time comes, I'm sure that it'll be celebrated highly. Maybe not with tomatoes over the fence, probably.
Maybe throwing them.
You know what? Hey, as long as they're strikes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, thanks again, ladies, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, it was really nice to have Deb and Kandy in to talk about local ball, but we just circle back a little bit more Jays talk. So we talked about it last episode and waxing nostalgic about the 92 and 93 teams. And it was incredibly amazing to see the country unify and the series to be what it was, going to Game 7 and the drama and the heartfelt effort that team kind of put through for their World Series push, and unfortunately fell short.
Yeah, I think that it's still fresh for a lot of people. So it's obviously most people are still going to be pretty upset about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I am.
But really, the outcome of 4 innings in one game really shouldn't tarnish the unbelievable ride that was the Blue Jays season. I actually, it's kind of a cold take now, but I posted on Facebook after the Leafs got knocked out of the NHL playoffs, and
Which
said,
year?
already, hey, pick one.
This year.
But I posted saying, hey, in case you haven't been following the Jays, they're 2 games under 500 and looking almost identical to how they looked last year.
Yeah.
And it was the moment that the Leafs were gone and not playing hockey anymore, they took off.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a magical season. And I really hope that this is like 86, 87 for the Jays, when they made it. And back then they got knocked out in the ALCS and not the World Series, but it was the start of some fantastic teams and great rivalries with Oakland and a lot of fun.
Atlanta.
And Atlanta and then Philly after. So it's really started for me a love of baseball, and I hope that there's a generation that will be able to kind of gravitate towards the sport again as well.
Yeah, it was the perfect element to have as a representation of the sport in Canada, right? Like that team, they were in that dugout and the clubhouse, those guys would, do anything for each other. And it showed as the games went on and as, they lost and they pick each other up and, just the characters and would come out like Ernie Clement and his slide and his smile coming across home plate, just laid out, they're having fun and you see it and you want to cheer for that. And the funny part to me was I work in the US and all of my coworkers were so sad for me when they lost. I said, how was that? And I had an hour-long conversation with one of my coworkers because he was so invested in watching the Blue Jays because it was interesting and it was entertaining for them to watch as well. So
I found it interesting beyond the fan perspective too. So I'll tune in every now and then to City News from Toronto. And
we get to see some old friends on there every once in a while.
Yeah, you would. Oh,
well, there's like Christina and a few of the old local reporters have made their way to City.
Yeah.
But Lindsay Dunn's the sports reporter, and they were talking to her the other day. And, obviously in the media, you have to remain somewhat unbiased. And I know, the years I covered the Kingsville Comets, like, no, I'm a homer. I want them to win and whatever. They were interviewing her maybe the day or two after, obviously still fresh. And you could just see in her how sad she was. And it was reflective of everything I saw. I mean, I just happened to, be in Markham that weekend for a swim meet for my kids. And so, there was a lot of hype and a lot of excitement. And yeah, Sunday was very different. Just a very different feel, even at the Aquatic Center. Just, kind of, there was a gentleman I ended up watching the game, well, most of the game with. So basically at the end of the ninth, we were in Boston Pizza in the hotel. End of the ninth, I'm like, I got to go up to the room. And I walk in the room and everyone's sleeping, but the TV's on. The Jays game is on. And I watched it. And the next day, we're there watching our kids swim and neither one of us mentioned it. Nothing was said about the game at all. It was just sort of, he's a Jays fan. I'm a secondary Jays fan, if you will. But I will say, after the home run, after Bichette's home run, I cheered like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had scored the Champions League winning goal in 99. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how excited I was, for my second team, if you will. So they brought on, I don't want to call myself a bandwagoner because I do root for them, but they, beyond just the diehards like yourselves, they brought in so many other people who never watched baseball. My kids, were really interested and invested in what was happening too. So
the dynamic of that team was just contagious, right? Like,
well, and they're fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
great.
And it's difficult to watch those teams that are like, actually like the Dodgers. If you're a Dodgers fan, like you're strong in starting pitching. It's lots of scoreless innings. Like it's for diehards in baseball. It's a fun watch, but a 6-2 game is that, and your team scoring 6, and there's tons of base runners, and anyone that's up to bat could get a hit. Like that's fun ball to watch.
Well, and they have unsung heroes too, like Alejandro Kirk, who's 5'8", 5'9", 240, 250 pounds. Yeah. Like, not an athletic looking guy, but he's an incredible catcher and had such an impact in the offensive game for the Jays. It was unexpected. And everybody's rooting for the guy who does not look like the prototypical like athlete.
He looks like Kandy should be umping his game.
He does. Yes. He looks like a local just beer league player.
Yeah.
But man, is he fantastic. And he stepped up. And then, you've got other players like
Ernie Clement hits the most hits in postseason history, and he bats 8th.
Yes. Yeah. And you have a pitcher, who's 22 years old, started in the minor leagues in April of 2025. Not 24, 23. No, 2025. And through the succession of months, rose right up to the Blue Jays roster in August. Started a couple of games and then had an insane strikeout count of 12 during game 5.
Yes.
12 K.
And on the flip side, has there ever been a greater assembly of deplorables than the Dodgers. Right? Like
you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like they are a good foil, right?
Yeah.
Like they're a good team to root against. Now,
I mean, I have a bit of affection for Freddie Freeman. He's got Canadian
Fantastic.
ties. His dad's from Windsor. Mom's from Peterborough.
yeah, which is weird. Well, I'm from Peterborough. My wife's from
you just
weird.
Did you just compare yourself to Freddie Freeman?
Hold on.
No, Sebastian's Freddie Freeman.
Yes.
Well, Mia,
Yeah.
because
Okay, sorry.
we're reverse,
Yeah.
right? So it's gonna be me.
Okay.
Yeah, she'll
Mia.
end up being the first baseman for the Dodgers.
But as a group, and like I admit, as soon as he made the catch at first, I shut it off and went to bed. And it got sadder because I realized I forgot to do the Wordle and my streak ended at 98. But I know, just compounded the misery. But I happened to see just a couple of clips of the Dodgers, like just where have we gone that like F-bombs are the norm at these types of events? Like, I'm sorry. Like, okay, so let's say in your excitement in an interview, you accidentally let a curse word, I'll use that term, curse word slip. Okay, can be forgiven. The passion's there. But when you get up to a microphone like one of their players did and you just drop a couple of random F-bombs, like, please.
How about a journalist?
Oh.
Both Kevin and I caught it. And
first, before we go on that, I do want to, when we're talking about Dodger players, I think one of my favorite players in the entire league right now is Yamamoto. Not only like just absolute lockdown, unbelievable pitcher, pitches complete games, then goes out again. He pitched a complete game, waited on the bench for everyone to leave, and then he grabbed a garbage bag and cleaned up all the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It's cultural.
I was just going to say that's cultural.
Yeah, but that's like that shows an unbelievable amount of respect
and character
and care, right?
Yeah, they're not all bad over there.
Just evil Umpire from the West.
Yeah, they're a fun team to dislike. I really don't hate any of their players. Like really of who?
No.
Like Ohtani's like it is already one of the greatest baseball players to have ever played the game. And then their starting pitching is great. Like they're a good team. There's a reason why they won the World Series. But Caleb Joseph, who I did not interview ever, he
good callback to last episode.
Yeah, he so the game's over and they're doing the commentary from the desk. And as not that I ever made it to the echelons that Caleb Joseph has been able to make it to, but in broadcasting, there is a code that you do not swear in front of a microphone. If you're a broadcaster, every mic you're around is hot. You expect it if you sit down in front of a microphone. And if you swear, I haven't actually had it happen to me, but I know lots of people that it happened to in radio. It can be suspensions, it can be firings, depending on the time of day, on how it happened, what the circumstances are. To see him as a broadcaster sit at a desk in front of a microphone, knowing, likely possibly having written what he's saying, if not, at least having the foresight to be thinking that I'm on camera. I know I have a microphone. I'm literally holding a microphone that I'm talking into. And then to say a curse word, the SH word, which I'm not even going to say.
Shirt. Shirt.
Yeah, shirt. But like the way I accidentally spell it every time I'm typing shirt and it's in like a report for the board. And it's for a broadcaster to do it. It's absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable.
It offended me a little bit because we're all passionate and we all wanted the Jays to win, but you're a broadcaster and what you're saying has to be factual. It can't have personal opinion unless it's a commentary or an editorial, right? Like
even then,
but you don't swear.
You don't swear.
You don't swear. You say it's, you're upset about whatever it is.
And honestly, and
it was off the cuff. Sorry, Kev. It was off the cuff how he said it. It wasn't.
Really? Because I mean, like the context at which he said the word wasn't impactful enough. It's I don't give a S. This is what I think. But I feel like that was premeditated.
I believe you're
right. And honestly, I think it's John Schneider in the twice in the ALCS was in front at the podium or being interviewed during the celebrations. And he swore a lot. But he's not a broadcaster. He's the person in the moment that is portraying the emotion that your broadcaster and your job is to capture. Mm-hmm. Your job is to relay what happened to the people that can't be there. And for him to do it, I can't believe they didn't have it on tape delay so that they could bleep it. And then they did have a warning after whenever they would show it. Yeah. But for you to see that happen, and obviously there was like it got on it went viral. It was all over the place. Everyone was talking about how can you believe he swore? How much he swore? Blah 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 blah. Then at the end of the World Series to go on camera and then do it yourself as a broadcaster, it's like I honestly I wasn't a huge fan of his, but I hope that he doesn't get renewed. Like it was.
Yeah, Hazel didn't do that. Hazel's been doing sideline for the Jays for.
Hazel's a professional.
Yeah. Caleb used to be a player, right? So I get it. He's got the emotion, but. He's not a player anymore. That's not your role. That's not what
you're not on the field. You didn't play. You're getting paid by Sportsnet. You're holding a microphone as your job in front of a camera with lights on you. You're not a player. You're a broadcaster.
Well, we'll see what happens. Spring training's 108-ish days away. There was some news that came out today about Shane Bieber exercising his option, so he's coming back,
which is amazing.
And hopefully there's going to be some signings for some of the free agents like Bo Bichette that return back to the Jays. And
I would love it if Chris Bassett would come back as a relief pitcher.
Yeah. Well, I think the writing's on the wall that the way that clubhouse gelled. That emotion's going to play a big part in their return, and it's not going to be just commercially.
They got to get Shapiro signed first, I think, and then they can.
Oh, don't you worry. I think Rogers might just open up the coffers and pay up because finally, for once, spending the big money resulted in something.
Yeah,
so
they made some bank.
Let's go Blue Jays. Finally, for this episode,
hey, maybe they can get Skubal. Purdy's on the trade block.
Yeah, $400 million.
He can go. That's fine.
So we were incorrect last episode when we were discussing the date of the parade. I don't know what I did. Maybe I just gapped out. But it's November 15th, Saturday the 15th at 5 p.m. Opening of Fantasy of Lights and the parade. We will be there running around. So if you see us, say hi. We might interview you. But
I'm going to watch the live feed.
Or will you?
I'll be sleeping.
From overseas. Yeah, you will be. It'll be 10
asleep.
p.m. when it starts. It's only 5 hours.
Is it?
Yeah. Portugal's the first.
Oh, that'd be so I can
never mind. No, but he won't watch because it'll be dark there. He doesn't want to watch parades in the dark.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No. Gotta be warm.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Special thanks again to Deb and Kandy for coming in. I hope you enjoyed that. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll see you next time on That Kingsville Podcast.